Tánaiste, you talk about respect and trust. That's exactly what the people of Ireland don't have in you. There has been a carefully choreographed campaign to get rid of our neutrality. The current Taoiseach back in 2013 clearly spelled out what Fine Gael was up to, and at that point we were told the triple lock was an integral part of our neutrality, and so on and so on. You've turned language on its head. Absolutely. If you want respect and you want trust, then what you should have done in relation to neutrality, as was promised, I think, by yourself, that it should go to a citizens' assembly, that didn't happen. What we got was Dame Richardson in charge of a carefully choreographed consultative, within inverted commas, and even then the people of Ireland made their views known, and the vast majority said we hold neutrality dear. Now you've come back with this. It's one of the clearest objectives in the programme for government, as opposed to the other wishy-washy language. You will change the triple lock, and you're changing the triple lock against the wishes of the people of Ireland.
Thank you.
It's beginning to happen in this House where there's a basic lack of respect for the mandate of people who sit on this side of the House. I mean, to come in here, Deputy Connolly, and talk about that I don't have the trust and respect of the Irish people. I got elected to Dáil Éireann, same day as you. So did my colleagues. Together we formed a majority of the people's representatives. We put in our manifesto that if we were elected to government, we were going to reform the triple lock. We told the Irish people before the election. So we don't need any caustic remarks that if people in this House don't like the way we vote, that somehow or other we've lost the trust and respect. I wouldn't accuse you of losing the trust and respect, and I have the trust and respect of my constituents, and it's been just renewed a couple of months ago, and we formed a government. This is democracy in action. It's not just democracy if you like the outcome, and we don't need a citizens' assembly. We have one. Here it is. This is the Citizens' Assembly, the place, the national parliament, where the men and women elected by citizens of this country get sent to debate and discuss issues. And if we could do it in a respectful manner, I think it would be very productive.
Deputy Catherine Connolly.
I repeat, Micheál Martin, the current Taoiseach, has repeatedly said that the triple lock is at the core of our neutrality, number one. Number two, I believe as a neutral, independent, sovereign state that we should use our voice to champion the UN structures, to reform the UN structures, and to get away from the language of rule-based order, talk about international law, which has been hard wrought and hard won following 2 world wars. And then we come to your Putin. We're all on record on this side of the House of condemning the illegal invasion. What I don't hear is the condemning of America for their encroachment, to put it mildly. They're taking over, they're destabilising of a whole number of countries in South America. I don't hear you condemn the new president at the moment because it suits your purposes. And so our credibility is at stake in relation to being a neutral. We need our credibility. We need people to be able to trust us so that we speak truth to power, regardless of whether it's in America or in...
Deputy Donegal.
Thank you.
Look, I agree with Deputy Connolly on this. We should continue, and we do continue to champion the UN and champion reform of the UN. I fully agree on that. I'm a huge believer in international law and the workings of the United Nations. And at a time when that is under threat from others who are looking inwards, who don't believe in multilateralism, we should be even louder in our promotions. I don't disagree on that. But I also recognise the reality, as I'm sure you do, that UN Security Council reform isn't exactly forthcoming from some of the permanent members of the UN Security Council.
Trust is at an all-time low in this government in relation to neutrality. And troops through Shannon, you've never once inspected the troops. Repeatedly you've got information that arms and soldiers with arms and arms, never once, no inspection. You reassured us. I'm never reassured by institutions nor governments. I like to see evidence. The Occupied Territories Bill, which goes to the core of our credibility in relation to how we deal with different aggressors, whether that's Russia, America or Israel, goes to the core of our credibility. No progress on that, bowing to American interests. There are any amount of examples. The Lisbon Treaty, the Nice Treaty, we were forced to vote twice, and we got reassurances, we got civil declarations, we got guarantees that we were not going in the direction of a military-industrial complex and a European army. Over and over you told us. People on the ground in Fianna Fáil, when I listen to them, they're telling me that neutrality is absolutely at the core of what we stand for.
Body experience here, because I'm in favour of Irish neutrality. The Government of Ireland is in favour of Irish neutrality. The Government of Ireland values Irish neutrality, and I spend a significant amount of my working week now travelling the world explaining to colleagues, to partners, to counterparts why we value Irish neutrality. But you know what else I also value? This place. The democratic mandate of the men and women who get elected to Dáil Éireann in terms of decisions in relation to our defence forces. And the idea of seconding that out to anybody else is ludicrous in itself. The idea of seconding it out to anybody else that includes Vladimir Putin is downright illogical. And we need to be able to have a sensible debate where we publish legislation, which none of you have even seen yet. You're all against what you haven't seen yet. We need to then send it to an Oireachtas committee, and we need to then scrutinise it. And I welcome Deputy O'Leary at least being willing to do that. I take the point about, how were people in favour of the triple lock at one moment in time and not now, but I would respectfully say the world has changed. I mean, there was a time we used to invite Russian presidents to this country and shake their hands and welcome them and engage. He's now invading a country on the continent of Europe. The context has changed. And in terms of the defence and security obligations that we have an obligation to do that. And on the OTB, as again, I don't wish to be misrepresented, I have spent all of Monday in Brussels at an EU-Israel association agreement where, Deputy Connolly, not only have we not made progress, we've made progress. We have actually agreed unanimously as 27 member states to language that I think even you might be very supportive of in relation to the differentiation between the State of Israel and the illegally occupied territories. That's what our incredible diplomats, our incredible civil servants, aided and assisted and directed by the Irish government, have managed to achieve at an EU level this week in terms of the importance of a two-state solution, standing up for UNRWA, providing more money for UNRWA, standing up for our international courts, standing up for international law, and differentiating when it comes to trade between the illegally occupied territories of what should make up the state of Palestine and differentiating between that and the state of Israel.